It's not a time-traveling almanac, but it is a book from the future. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and I've been waiting for this one. As part of my routine, looking for new books to buy for my academic library's juvenile collection that supports our early learning and childcare program and our education program that trains future teachers, I try to keep an eye out for new picture books and the like. And as part of that, and of course for this channel, I search and see what's happening with some of my favorite authors. And I do the rounds. I'll search for Jeremy Tankard, Melanie Watt, Mo Willems. I'll see what Svetlana Chmakova is doing and if she's done a new Barry Brook graphic novel, if Victoria Jameson has done a new graphic novel, and work my way through the list. And inevitably, I'll get to a talented duo, John Clausen and Mac Barnett, who've worked together on a number of different books. Now, today's book doesn't have John Clausen involved, but it was created by Mac Barnett and Shawn Harris, and it is the future book. As our story starts, the narrator explains that this book is from the future and things are different in that time. That common words that we use now have changed meanings. Morning is now night. Night is called morning. Bananas are called apples. And apples, well, they don't exist in the future. And that some animals have changed their names as well. Cows are no longer cows. They're mooing life forms. And cats, well, they're meowing life forms. But dogs are still dogs. And various things have changed. Numbers have changed. The way you respond to sneezes have changed. The words for noses have changed. And instead of thanking someone, you gently put a fish on their head. And it's all written matter-of-factly, every last little bit of this. And it ends with the narrator describing a trip to a supermarket, also known as a bolly bolly hoo hoo, where he rattles off every bit of language he's taught the reader over the course of the book and relies on the reader to understand based on the translations he's provided. And so he says, "The other day I went to the bolly bolly hoo hoo to buy some fruit. 'Good night, Charlie Cheeseface,' I said. 'I would like to buy an apple and a blorange.' 'Of course, Charlie Cheeseface,' said the grocer. 'Here's a big yellow apple and a big blorange. That will be $1 bazillion. Just then I felt a tremendous sneeze coming on. I have a cold right now. 'Achoo,' I said. 'Forgive me, Susan,' said the grocer, and handed me a handkerchief so I could blow my mushroom." It's ridiculous and absurd, but people who've been reading the book and paying attention will know exactly what was meant all the way through, and it's a really funny way of bringing it all back together. And the narrator tells the reader, you know what, this is all in the future, and you'll see when you get here. It ends by saying, "You smell like a baby," which means goodbye in the future. So, this is hilarious. First off, the fake 80s stuff is perfect for a book that claims to be about the future, given that Back to the Future was such a big deal in that era. And the triangle holographic shades and the leather jackets and the mohawks and everything, it's wonderful. It feels like this book was pulled from the 80s, talking about the future years of 2001 and so on. So that was a lot of fun. The different words were really funny. The idea that they came up with that oranges are now called bloranges, and there's no word that rhymes with it, which is just hilarious for anyone who's ever been told that nothing rhymes with orange. The replacing of saying bless you with forgive me, Susan, had me laughing my head off when I read this to my kids. It's so ridiculous. And I can imagine someone saying with great fervor, forgive me, Susan. And it makes me smile every time. I love that idea. It's hilarious. On a less silly side, though, I think this book is a tremendous way of explaining to kids that words and language change, that meanings are not fixed in stone, and that it's okay if a word doesn't have the same meaning it used to, that it's obtained new meaning and new expectations with it. As an example, when I was a kid, and actually not that many years ago really, okay, at least a decade ago, maybe a decade and a half, when you talked about the GOAT, referring to sports, it was someone who had messed up. It was the goaltender who let in a soft goal and cost the team the game. It was the player who missed a chance at an empty net that could have won the team the game. It was the person who fumbled a perfect pass. And it was always someone who messed it up. They were the scapegoat. They were the GOAT. And so a few years back when I started hearing about LeBron James being the GOAT, I thought, well, okay, he messed up. He had a bad night, I guess. Maybe he missed more shots than normal. Maybe he fouled out. And then it was explained to me that GOAT means the greatest of all time. Which, by the way, I have a problem with, because if GOAT means greatest of all time, the acronym for the United States of America should be USOA. But we'll leave that for now. The point is, in my lifetime, honestly, in a period of really just a few years, the meaning of that phrase, when applied to a sports context, reversed itself. In the history of human culture, that's almost an overnight thing for a term in a language to just flip over like that. It was an incredible occurrence, and this book gets right to the heart of that. Things you know the meaning of now may not mean that in the future. And like the language side of it is important, but the idea of just letting kids know that, hey, things change. And guess what? It's okay. We're still going to be the same kind of people. We're still going to go to the grocery store. We're still going to buy fruits and veggies. Dogs will still be dogs. And we're still going to find ways to thank people and say goodbye and say bless you. We're going to have the same needs and desires and urges and willingness to be a good person. And those things won't change, even if our labels for them will. And I think that's a fun, powerful message wrapped up in an absolutely ridiculous and funny kids book. Now, if I were going to pair this with something in a story time, what I might be tempted to do is go with another sort of book where a kid makes up a bunch of stuff from a single thing. I would be really tempted to pair this with Westlandia. And I'm blanking on the author at the moment, so I'll have to put it on the screen below me. But it's the story of a boy who gets bullied at school and doesn't like pizza and doesn't want his hair cut the same as everyone else. And in the summer, he decides to start a project to plant his own staple food crop and found his own civilization. And he tills the land, lets the wind blow seeds into it, and this plant starts growing that he calls a swist because of the noise it makes. And it makes, it serves as a catch-all plant for him, where he can eat the berries, drink the juice, use the oil as sunscreen and bug repellent, can pull up the plants and eat tubers at the bottom that are vaguely like potatoes, and so on. It's in every plant. But he has to make up language for these things while he's doing it, and actually makes his own 80-letter alphabet that he uses to transcribe his civilization's history. And I think it would be a really, really neat 1-2 punch with this. This one that's on the surface ridiculous and silly, but the actions in the book are grounded, whereas Westlandia, the narrative is very, very grounded. The idea of this kid being bullied, the idea that he's going to spend his summer on this project, growing food and writing about the culture that develops from that food, but has this do everything plant that takes over his garden and makes it look like a jungle. I think they're a really neat contrast. I would love to read them back to back to a group of kids. And yeah, I recommend this. Go borrow it from your public library. While I'm on that topic, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving their materials, programs, and services, and a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. Now, if by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for taking this trip to the future with me. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back and see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.